Scrutinizing the Holy Bible means truth. Okay, the Hebrew Israelites, there's two words that sound alike. There's Sukkot, which is Sukkot, which has something to do with a Jewish holiday, and Sukkoth, Succoth, which is not too far from the Palestine. I think it's today's Jordan. But we're going to read, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. You're correct in what you're saying about the Europe, but the misunderstanding is the word Sukkot and Sukkoth, where you're saying that Caucasian people are Edomites, and there's a slight, it's a slight error. So reading the Bible, I can speak it, but I'm gonna have to read it, and I'm gonna be, for proof. So I'm gonna be reading out of Numbers chapter 20, Genesis chapter 33, and Deuteronomy chapter 2. Okay, I'm going to start with in the beginning. It's not necessarily in order. Okay. So this is when Moses wanted to take the children of Israel through the land of Edom. And Moses, from Egypt to the promised land is not in Germany. It's not Europe. So the Edoms did not want the Israelites to pass through their land to get to the promised land. And I just want to read that. This was in Numbers 20. Let us pass, I pray thee, through thy country. We will not pass through the fields or through the vineyards. Neither will we drink of the water of the wells. We will go by the king's highway. We will not turn to the right hand. This is what Moses and the Israelites is just saying, that we're not going to do these things. We just want to go through. We're not going to turn to the right nor to the left until we have passed your borders, thy borders. And Edom said unto him, Thou shalt not pass by me, lest I come out against thee with the sword. And the children of Israel said unto him, We will go by the highway, and if I and my cattle drink of thy water, then I will pay for it. I will only, without do anything else, go through on my feet. And he said, Thou shalt not go through. And Edom came out against him with much people and with a strong hand. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his border, wherefore Israel turned away from him. And they are relatives. This is after Jacob and Esau made up. These are relatives of Esau who still have animosity of them. Okay. You gotta excuse me, my eyes is blurry because of the pollen is real high out there, and this making me not be able to see hardly. Okay, so Esau says this, I'm going back, and Esau says this to Jacob. What meanest thou all this drove which I met? And what he's saying is, when Jacob saw Esau, he ran to him, kissed him, they ran to each other, they wept and kissed each other and forgave each other. But Jacob wanted to give Esau some of his animals as a gift. So Esau wanted to know, why is all this? And Jacob said, These are to find grace in the sight of my Lord. And so Jacob was calling Esau my Lord. And Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Keep that thou hast unto thyself. This is not in Europe. This is before they got to Seir. And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face as though I have seen the face of God. Saying that he saw that Esau was really pleased of seeing Jacob, and he knew that he wasn't going to hurt him. And thou wast pleased with me. Take, I pray thee, my blessing that is brought to thee, because God hath dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him, and so Esau took it. And he said, Let us, and this is what Esau is saying, let us take our journey and let us go, and I will go before thee. So they were going to, Jacob had agreed to go with Seir with Esau, so that they can dwell among another. And he said unto him, and this is what Jacob said, my Lord, knoweth that the children are tender. Like, we still have young children. I don't know if they can do this long walk. They're going to get tired. It's going to be so much for them. They're going to die. So I need a rest, and then I'll come back after you. Okay, he says, knowing that the children are tender, and the flocks and herds with young are with me, and if men should overdrive them one day, all the flock will die. Let my Lord, I pray thee, pass over before his servant, and I will lead on softly, according as the cattle that goeth before me, and the children able to endure until I come unto my Lord, unto Seir. So he was saying, little by little, I will rest, and I will come, and I will meet you in Seir. Let me find out what Seir today is. Jordan. At the time, it says it's southeast of the kingdom of Judah, ancient Egypt. So it's spread it like not in the heart of Egypt, but the outside. And this is why when I read in the beginning how Moses wanted to go through the Edom to get to the promised land. So it's like right next to each other. And Esau said, let me now leave with some of the folk that are with me. And he said, what needed it? Let me find grace in the sight of my Lord. So Esau returned that day on his way unto Seir. And Jacob journeyed to Succoth, Succoth, which is not the Succoth that's in Europe, and built him an house and made booths for his cattle. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth. And Jacob came to Shalem, which is another word, Salem, but Jerusalem used to be called Salem, and then it was Jerusalem. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. They're all around each other. When he came from Panadarium and pitched his tent before the city. Remember, I would say remember, it was one of my videos where I was saying that Isaac wanted Jacob to go into Padanaram and not to marry the Canaanites because they were cursed. And so when Esau saw that Jacob was told not to marry the Canaanites and to marry your own kind, even though Esau, at first, the two wives that he had is from Canaan, so he ended up marrying in his own. So he didn't take another wife in Canaan. He went to his own kin, Ishmael. Ishmael, I don't have time to say who's the uncle, who's that. Ishmael's mother was an Egyptian, so she was dark. So when he married them, then he had children, and they had like grandchildren, and then they grew as God had promised to grow as the sand of the sea, as though just like he promised Jacob. And so that whole land of Edom was of color. Okay, I'm reading out of Deuteronomy chapter 2 now. Now listen to this. Then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spake unto me, and we compassed Mount Seir many days. And the Lord spake unto me, saying, ye have compassed this mountain long enough. So around Seir, and this is where Esau had dwelt, but Esau had passed. Okay, let's see. Ye have compassed, and this is God is telling them, look, you keep circling around, you're all around Seir. You had compassed this mountain long enough. So this is the mountain of Seir, not the mountain of Germany. Turn you northward, God is saying, and command thou the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir. And so Esau had died. These are the grandchildren of Esau. and the children of Israel wanted to go through there. But they had made up. Esau and Jacob had made up. They had wept on each other, kissed each other, and remember they're supposed to follow each other, but Jacob ended up in Succoth. So God is saying, go to the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore. This is what God is telling them. Meddle not with them. Don't meddle with the Edomites. For I will not give you of their land. No, not so much as a foot breadth. Because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. Ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. For the Lord thy God hath blessed thee in all the works of thy hand. He knoweth thy walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. The Lord thy God hath been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing. And when we passed by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Elath and from Ezongeber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. Okay, I wrote something down. I'm going to read this, and I have to, I know a lot of people don't like a lot of reading, but I'm going to have to do this so that I can prove. There is Sukkot and Sukkoth. Okay, I'm trying to read this. My eyes is up. Okay, Jacob and Esau was born in Canaan, not the mountains, right? Until they were grown. The men of Sukkoth and Peniel is said to be the tribe of Gad. The Nigerians claim to be the tribe of Gad. The Native Americans are from the tribe of Gad, and this is what it is. There was a Native American that came, and he was more of the browner, he's not the light. And the two pigtails, just like he looked. I don't know if he was from Dakota, Oklahoma, it was somewhere. But he said his forefathers is black. So his forefathers is a Hebrew Israelite. God had told the Israelites, the 12 tribes, to wear fringes forever. And I'm sure they have been wearing fringes, and in some areas they probably still are, but that they were stripped from their clothes, whatever. But fringes forever. So the Native Americans are from the same people, but they're a different clan. They're a clan which broke off. It's just like the children's children, like a group, and they still wear the fringes. They never stopped wearing the fringes. So ancient Sukkoth is in Egypt, and when I mean not in the heart of Egypt, but like the end near Canaan, because Canaan land, when Abraham walked from Canaan to Egypt, is not that far. It's in the same area. It's Sukkoth, not Sukkot, not Sukkot, because Sukkot is a Jewish holiday that was made through the Jewish people that came in where they are now. They came from Europe and not Israel, not being in Egypt. All right. Shechem, I think it's Shechem is ancient Palestine, and this is before entering the Promised Land. Shalem or Salem is Jerusalem. Jerusalem used to be called Salem in the old Israel, the original. I mean the old Israel, the north. I can't remember which one, but it used to be called Salem. Seir is southeast of the kingdom of Judah, southeast of Judah, ancient Egypt, like I said, in that area, near Canaan. But today Seir is called Jordan, not Turkey. Okay. I found something that I Googled What is the origin of Caucasian man? Okay, I'm just reading what it says. White people are called Caucasian because Joanne, I don't know if it's a man or it says Johann. It's spelled like Joanne, a female is Joann. Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, born 1752 through 1840, an influential German scholar and an up-and-coming German university, chose the name on April 11th of April 1795 in Göttingen, Lower Saxony, in what would become Germany. Okay. Geographically, the Caucasian people and its mountain ranges are considered part of the natural boundary between Europe and Asia. That's its Sukkot, Sukkot. The exact definition of this boundary vary. However, due to cultural and social political factors, the region as a whole is generally viewed as part of modern Europe, not Sukkot, Succoth, where Jacob ended up. Jacob lived there. So the Hebrew Israelites was telling the truth about their history, but the Sukkot and Succoth is mixed up. And so by them thinking that Caucasian people were Edomites and yelling at them, saying that it was just a misunderstanding because of the two words sounded like, but they're spelled different. One, Sukkot, Sukkot, they had made, the Jews in there now had made that a holiday, a Jewish holiday. They made it, not the Hebrew Israelites. And so Cuth is where Jacob lived. Okay. So the Edomites, as I said, Esau married Ishmael. Even if he didn't, well, his wives came from Canaan. They were of color. Jacob and Esau was from the same DNA, the same blood, same parents. Both of their grandfathers are Abraham. And so Esau married Ishmael's, which was half Egyptian and what Abraham is. And they migrated, and those people in Edom, which is over in Jordan, like Seir, they're in Canaan, Palestine, all of them are people of color. This is not related to in Germany. And I can see the mix up because the ones that say the made Jews are in there now, as I said, the made Jews are not claiming Hebrew Israelite. Well, the Hebrew Israelite in the Bible will not be still there. So Europe, if it says Europe, we know that the Europe Jewish people are not from the Hebrews from the Bible, because it's Europe, over in near Egypt, Africa, Canaan, Palestine. These still are people of color. They're still dark. So it's two different things. You have the Hebrews that's still in that area. So Edomites, even though they said they're red, look, if you read about David, it says David's skin, he was there. I heard preachers say he was stinking, smelling like a sheep and raggedy and blah blah. No, he wasn't. It says he was handsome, very good to look upon, and his skin, he was ruddy. Ruddy is not raggedy. Ruddy is fresh, clean cut, red. He was red skin, and I know a lot of red skin people of color, black people who are red skin. They're just a tan browner than me, but the more they get in the sun, the redder they get. And just like they used to call the Native Americans redskins because their skin would turn red in the heat. But so they're related anyway. David and Esau. Esau came out. You can have a sibling that has red colored skin. The other can be brown. One can be light. One can be dark. And so when it says he came out red, yes, when you kind of a little light brown like that, you cry like that, you will turn red. He came out red. He had red but it's the same, whatever color, Abraham and Sarah were brothers and sisters. They had the same father and not the same mother. I think there's one of those. But anyway, they're half brothers and sisters, but they married each other, and so they all from DNA. They're all from the same God. And the Bible said that God had loved them. I should have wrote that scripture down, but the nation that they were in their mother's womb, and it says there were going to be two different nations. Two different nations doesn't mean two different race. The whole continent of Africa, a lot of them, except for Ethiopians, they call themselves Ethiopians, but then the ones who know who they are, they call themselves Hebrews. But I'm saying this, the majority of them, they say we're Africans. But we know that there's Nigerians, there's South Africans, there's Ghanaians. So these are clans. So Esau, he had his own clan, and he wasn't called Edom. Edom is a Hebrew name for red, and it isn't because of his red skin that his name was Edom. His name was called Edom because he ate out of the red pot at the point of death, and so his name is called Edom. And so he'll have his grandchildren be Edomites. Jacob's name was changed to Israel because he fought. He wrestled with the angel, so his people's called Israelites. But they're all the same people. I know a lot of brown-skinned people that have red hair. I have a cousin that had red hair. I knew a guy I went to school with. He had red hair on his arm, red afro, red on his legs. Just because the baby came out, and I'm sure when he cried when he was a baby, he was red. But just because he's red, they automatically thought that it was Caucasian people because they turn red too. I turned red when and I still turn red. If I slap, I'll get a red mark on me. But I'm just saying, and sometimes when I blush, it turns red, as they told me. So for them to holler and say, you're Edomites, God hate you. No, look, God, you can go to hell for hating someone. Jesus said, if you hate your brother without a cause, you're not really fit for the kingdom. When God said, hey, he hated the deed of Esau, but he loved them. It says he blessed his mother, their mother's womb. If God does not contradict himself. If he says that he not to hate, he doesn't mean that he hated Esau through his guts. He loved Esau. He loved all men, regardless of what type of sin you can do, the worst sin. He loves you, and he wants it. But you can't blaspheme against the Holy Ghost, and then you won't be forgiven for that. But he was talking about, and when he said, Jacob I love, Esau I hated. I hated the deeds of him. But at the end they made up. But it's the generation. But you know what? Even though they did some things and they should have squashed it, but God still let them have that land and said, don't go told Israel, don't go through that land. I gave it to Esau and his people. The Esau had been dead. But so Edomites are not white people. They're not Caucasians. They're Hebrews. And as I said, the difference between Sukkot and Sukkoth and Hebrew Israelites and Jews, they're different. That's the people. Esau people is a people of color. Most of those, a lot of that, his kids were from Canaan, Canaanite wives, and he also married dark Ishmael's daughters. And so that's one side. And there's Europe and there's Egypt. Okay. I want you, I don't never ask people to subscribe, but I'm going to say this because I don't know. A lot of people do get pleased, but they see it, let me know that you like it. They make comments, but they don't put like. Let me know that you're satisfied, and then, I can continue, because if I don't think, maybe, I guess we can't go by that. We have to still do what God said. This is about the truth, and that's why the name of what I always say is scrutinizing the word means truth. So this is the truth that I gave you all who didn't know. But if you can subscribe and like, I would appreciate it. All right, thank you.